is all wrong, but okay. So I found one that I know is right. This one is called "We Are Awakening," which we are. We are all awakening, and we are all coming into a whole new presence in our lives. And this is the time. This is the time for us to rise above. For us to know that we're rising in love. We're rising in everything that is, and we are breaking free. And that's just the bottom line. So that's why we're here. We're here to break free of the chains that are on our minds, on our lives. And we're here to change the world because we are world changers. So I'm going to welcome you guys back to the Minds Up Show, Mindset Reset. And tonight we are doing the Enlightenpreneur. So we have Master Nigel on the line with us today, and who has joined us in this part of the set is C. Will. Now, they're both very powerful men who are enlightened and awakened, and we are all on a path. We recognize that we're all on a path. And Master Nigel is actually educating us a bit on words that were designed to keep us stuck, that we have not even noticed until it was brought to our attention, which was tonight, where he was able to actually show us. And I'll just have him just briefly go back to reiterate some of the things that we talked about. But there are some virus words, and these virus words are what puts the mind to sleep. So when you're in a certain capacity of thinking, if these words are being spoken around you, you may find yourself yawning, or you might find yourself tired, or you might find yourself lethargic, or whatever these symptoms are, which he has a wonderful Change Angel Mastery spreadsheet that will give you all of the limiting words. And we're going to put the links back up on the side, which is going to give you all the limiting words. And these, he also has the substitute words that you're going to replace these limiting words with. So there's actually a prescription to the illness of the words that we have been using. There is an antidote. There is a solution. And Master Nigel is going to tell us all about it as we try this again with even more energy, more power, and even more people just tuned in right now to rock out, So, Master Nigel, tell us about this whole program that you have with virus words. Help us to understand, what it is. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought this was off.
Oh, my phone. My phone just went off.
Huh?
Okay. It was my phone.
Oh, that was your fault.
Yeah.
Okay.
My phone. Yeah. Okay,
oh, that was your phone. Oh. Okay.
Yeah. But we're back.
So I mean, I'm kind of because it seems like we kind of got like a new audience now because of what happened earlier. Fine. So you don't have to start over, but you can just kind of like get to the point and bring them.
It's worth like always starting.
Okay, you're back. You froze.
You was frozen again.
Oh, okay. Basically, just think of a computer, right? The computer has a processor.
No.
It's programmed with language. Yes, computer programming language. Yes.
Yes.
And depending on the nature of the way that the program is written, will determine what the computer does. It will either produce a spreadsheet or Microsoft Word, or the app basically is just a program. Same as the Matrix, everything was a program. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And the computer is actually modeled off the human mind. Right? So that's where we got it from. Guess what? This computer, the hardware is called the brain. and the language that programs it is the one that we're speaking right now. And depending on how well you command this language, you can have what they call intelligence. You're well-spoken, Nigel, and, you seem to be well-learned. And you can have the language of architecture, or you can have the language of law or medicine. So they're all different, same English, different app, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you go to university or study, you're basically choosing an app, but you still have to read the language. You say, I'm reading medicine, or I'm reading law, I'm reading architecture, engineering. Guess what? Every single one of them is written in English, especially for English-speaking countries. But different apps, right? Well, by the way, just as an aside, what was your app that you studied at university? How did you use language?
Broadcasting media technology. Yes.
There we go. An app, right?
So, I mean, and it actually works very well in this context because it's also a programming language in itself. The reason they call them programs is because it's meant to program you to a specific action. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Notice everything is really a program, and there's programs that program, and programming is within the program. And even if you're in a college, they say, well, today your program for your curriculum starts with this program, and then you're going to run this other program. And so welcome to reality, or the illusion thereof. Everything is a program running in mind. And you can, if you're smart, you will have multiple programs, 2 degrees. I programmed myself to do engineering, and I also programmed in medicine. And then there's different levels of program, PhD level programming, bachelor's level programming, how deep do you want to go? And guess what? The CPU here has infinite capacity. So now that we've established the framework, what can we do with this thing? You can program it so it's narrow, or you can program it so it's wide. Do you agree?
Yeah.
And so the issue is not the actual programming language, but the intent of the programmer, right? And now this is where this word master comes in, the masters of society. The masters get to control what program is released upon the masses and how much their mind will be narrowed or expanded. And if you can control the environment where the program is happening, called the school, for example, or the TV that you're looking at, you can control the total behavior of this mind. What do you think about that so far?
I agree. I definitely agree. So one of my thoughts is like the news, and that's one of the things I like to teach is like critical thinking, especially the young people, is there is an intent. There is an intent. There's a reason that they're showing. It's called a process message in broadcasting school, right? So what is the process message? Meaning what is it you want the person to think or do as a result of watching this?
Amen.
And if you come at it, and if you put yourself in front of the program or whatever you're watching with that understanding, then you have a little bit more power. You come from a place of, do I agree with this process message, which is never really stated clearly, but you can kind of pick up on it from all the context clues of the program.
Very good. So now, once you start to look at language and how it interacts with the mind, you are now in the land of awareness. See, that's where I was with Diamond. We were now paying attention, not just to the language, but how the mind is responding to the language, right? And then you can talk about language and break it down to the words that make up the language. And the order in which the words occur can change the way that the mind responds. If you said, he goes there, or there he goes, the mind behaves differently. That's why the written word is so critical, and syntax and grammar and all these things now are critical. So Shakespeare was a master of programming, right? To be or not to be. That is the question. That's some heavy-duty mind-boggling stuff that he just said, right? To be or not to be, as we were talking with Diamond, there is no such thing as not being, right? But if you throw the word not in there, you get this mind-boggling concept called not being or to be. That's called drama, by the way. When you throw in words that make the mind behave it's like irrational ways, it's called drama. Hence, television broadcasting, right? You've got to have some drama, right? And you go to theater to see drama. And it's entertaining. And it's funny, actually, because we get to see how much variation of programming is possible. So now, then you become a script writer. See? Now you can write the script that people are going to look at. And the unconscious person just sits there and let the program in and let their mind be controlled by what they're looking at. But the conscious script writer is not looking at the program at all. They're not even looking at the play. They're looking at the script and like, oh, look, that's an interesting place where they put that comma. You know, oh, that's an interesting pause, right? Ooh, I like how he twisted that. You notice how the programmer is thinking different from the consumer of the program. Once you are controlling a program, you're in the land called masters. The masters of the universe, right? You know what they are? The people that write the script and broadcast it, right? They're your territory. They are controlling the minds of the masses. And part of their desire is that the masses start paying attention to what is actually coming in and just let the program run. We have choice as to which program does run and even the ones that even come in. That's a choice. But that word choose, has been deleted from the vocabulary. Have you noticed it? It's just not in the curriculum. When you're at school, they're going to say, hey, welcome to choice school. What is your choice today? No, that's not how it goes. The word choose was deliberately removed from the vocabulary. And a particular word was inserted, which is the opposite or the antidote of the virus is choose. So the virus word that has been proliferated in the English language for the masses is the word N-O-T. Have you noticed that word before?
The word, say again?
N-O-T, not.
Oh, not.
Have you seen that word, noticed it at all? Now, this is an enlightened being. This is Diamond. I want you to watch this because what I mentioned was the word N-O-T is actually invisible to the eyes and the ears. And so I'm regarding you as one of the enlightened beings on the planet. And I want to see your response to that one word, not. Have you noticed it?
my response is that, yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of like we were talking about to be or not to be. Not is not a possibility. So in other words, something either exists or it doesn't exist. You can't, and everything that exists is. And so therefore there's no such thing as not. So that's why you can't register not, because it is.
Now,
yeah.
This is where it's useful for the third part, Diamond. If you could now mark every time you hear one of those virus words, mark the middle column. Right? Just put a 1. So I'm just going to activate you. So you have a pen and paper?
Okay.
You have your list?
Yeah, I have it.
Right. Yeah. So you see the middle column where it says I'm paying attention or something?
Yeah.
I'm practicing.
I'm increasing my awareness.
Yes.
Okay.
The awareness is if you have, like, I'm going to just activate you by saying the word not.
Okay.
I'm going to say not. How many times did I say the word not?
3.
Not.
3.
You should have 3 marks in that row.
Right.
Just you got 3 marks in there?
Yes.
I'm going to say, good. Now I'm going to just keep you active because you're going to be the monitor for both of them.
Okay.
So let me just activate you. Trying.
Okay.
So let me see where you can mark. There should be 3 marks on time. Yes. So you see what you're doing now? You're actively listening for any of those words, And every time you hear them, you make a mark.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And at the end of, or during our dialogue, you'll notice the pattern is beginning to form based on the words that both of us are using. Now, you got to be paying attention really well to notice two people talking, and oh, he said that. And it's like you're literally 90% of your time paying attention versus actually listening and getting engaged in the conversation. You're just looking for the words, yes?
Okay.
So I might just throw in a few just because I know when you're writing, because I'll say it. If you're engaged in the conversation, then you stop paying attention to the words. All right. So, Will, what are you thinking? See, he's thinking right now.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I am thinking. I was reading my messages on Twitter. Anyway.
Right. Now, that is called a distraction. Remember the list of symptoms, physical symptoms, checking out? You put a mark there for that. Right? So, anyway, back to the program. And we were talking about the word not. That should be a mark right there, not. And I was seeing if Sewell is familiar with this word not. Has he even noticed it? And prior to Nigel mentioning it, have you even seen that word in your mind's eye or noticed it throughout your day?
I don't know. So let me think. I know that's the word there too, but the
market.
What I'm thinking is, so I've done a lot of this kind of work before, and so like when you're talking about goal setting, you want to be in a positive and you want to be in the present, So in other words, you wouldn't say, I don't want to. I mean, you wouldn't say I want to lose weight. You would say I want to be, a certain weight. In other words,
you see that?
You mean like I want to be thin, or like I want to be? For me, just to share with you, see, what if somebody wanted to lose weight, and they're saying like, I want to lose weight. The language that I would give to them to begin using is, I am healthy.
Right.
I'm happy that I'm eating much better than I used to, so that it doesn't have, there's no word at all that has any resistance to what it that they
Right. Well, here's the thing. All of those things that you're both saying is full of virus. For example, let me see on the list. Look, is there want on the list? WANT.
Yeah.
Did you mark it?
Yeah, I marked it.
That is a virus word. Yeah, I just want to make sure that because I can't see your hand, so I just see you're paying attention. But what is important is the marking, because what I heard Will say, Nigel, I've done this kind of thing before, and you don't want to say the negative, you want to say the positive. He's talking about affirmative speaking, and both affirmative speaking is virus talk as well. And it would show up on your list. Literally, you'll hear it, because positive is actually a virus. Negative is a virus. Good is a virus. Bad is a virus.
Because there's opposition.
Well, it's just embedded in both of those words is the word not. Remember, that's the root of all limiting words, is the word not. And it's buried in so many words that sound positive, but they're literally just virus words sounding positive. And positive is one of those words.
So can you expound on the concept of the root word not in your perspective?
Say more about what you mean by expound. Break that.
Like explain it.
No, I can, but I wanted him to clarify his question.
My bad.
Yeah, because it seems like you're talking about duality, and getting above and beyond duality when you're talking about the good, the bad, the positive, negative, and all that. And so I understand that concept of expanding beyond duality, but I don't see the relevance of the word not. You keep mentioning the word not, and I'm trying to see the relevance of the connection.
Not There is no such thing as duality, period, on earth. There is no such thing. The word not creates the illusion of duality. That is its function. Without the word not, human beings would have zero experience of duality. The word not is the creator of duality. If there is and by the way, there is the source and there's the creator. Did you know there's a distinction between the source, which is God, and then there's another function called the creator? The creator is the word not. I mean, this is as deep as it could get.
Wow.
That is deep. So I know that Sibyl is processing that, and he has a thought.
So can you share, like with the word not just for Sibyl, so he can have clarity?
Oh, he has it. He has it. He just hasn't spoken yet.
Yeah, so I'm getting that because so I'll give you my what I'm thinking or feeling right now is that so similar to the idea I was talking about the all and we are unique individual points of expression of that. We have to in some way not reduce it but form limits. That's what the ego's job is, to focalize us within reality as an individual. Yes. So we can't be everything. We have to form ourselves, so to speak. And that's the creatorship idea of the word not. Saying I am this, but I am not that. Therefore, I am Christian. I am me. I'm not my brother, my mother. And so that forms that separation.
The virus word, just to make sure our marker is actually marking. I know you're marking. I'm just giving you an audio of that's the practice I have with whenever I train people in this, I say every time you hear a virus word, just say beep. It's like a warning audio. Like every time he said a virus word, you heard me say beep. And that's like sending out a signal to everybody in the vicinity, virus incoming, right? And incoming, beep, beep. So if you notice, I was doing a beep on every time he spoke. So I'm hearing his conversation. I know what he's talking about, the all, the oneness, and yet we need something to give us this illusion of localization and singularity or duality. Guess what? The function that gives us that is the word not. Mm-hmm. Or everything, and God is everything until I say it's not. And then you're now down to language. All language is built on the word not. That's why programming language starts off in binary, 1 and 0. That's how all language starts. And then through mathematics, you start off with 1, or actually you start with 0, which is infinity. Then you can go down to 1, and then 1 splits into 2, and then 2 splits into whatever when you multiply 2, you get 4, which is quad something. And then after 4, you get 16. And everything, that's how programming language expands. The computers run off the same principle. Mm-hmm. Starts, the first chip was just 1 and 0. Then they had 4-bit chip, so it's 4. And then they have 16-bit chips. Then you have 64 bits. And now you have 128 bits. And they it's a series. And that's how language is created. Literally, in the beginning was the word, right? And then it split. And that's where the devil came in when human beings thought there were two voices. That's the original sin right there. The belief in duality, right? How did that come about? I found the word. It was the word not. If there is a devil, it is the word not. However, to say it's the devil is a lot of people think the devil is evil or is bad. It's just a word that does work. It splits things and creates illusions of separation, creates illusions of duality, and this illusion is how we get to have this world. Without illusions, we wouldn't have the experience of life. So it's not something to be condemned, it's something to be mastered. Since you can create an illusion called life, let's create. Therefore, the virus is an instrument to be mastered. And like all instruments, if you close your eyes and use it, you cause damage. If you pay attention, you create with it, right? That's what it's for. It creates form. Form is a limit, is it? That's what a form is something with a boundary on it. Therefore, it is limited. Every object has a limit. And this phone is infinite except not here, not here, not here. That's how you create form. You have to use the word not. So now I'm using it as a creator. It's a tool. Without that, when I'm unconscious, I can shut down my mind without awareness. That's what the programmers are doing. The ones that, the masses, when I said we're in the masses, they allow someone else to program their mind. The thinkers choose their own program. All right? And they choose how much virus they choose to have, and that's called creativity, right? That's what the knot is for. You can get a lump of rock, and you say, what shape should I create? And the way that you create a shape is you say, not here, not here, not here. You literally are removing forms of infinity till you come down to a shape, which is basically a limited form. All shapes are based on limits.
So you're coming from, again, the idea of choice, right? And so you're choosing what is to be. And that I like that you use the Shakespeare, because I actually love that quote, to be or not to be, because I really feel that it is that is what you're choosing. It's a matter of being what you are going to be or what is going to be. But I'm thinking when you're talking about these masters and whatnot, of the idea that even though they seem to be on a higher level, they're, to me, in my perspective, ones who are so controlling and, to me, acting from a place of fear aren't actually masters. They may be skillful at manipulation of consciousness, but however, they're still coming from a perspective of lack themselves and a perspective of fear, because that's why they feel they have to control others and their allocation of resources.
Who's this they? So, this mysterious
well,
they?
I'm referring to them because you are, so I don't really, because
I'll tell you what I'm
talking about the controllers of the world, the people who's actually controlling.
I understand. I know exactly what you're talking about. What I'm having him to be accountable for is the word that he's using.
Yeah, I know. And so the reason I'm using it, the reason I'm pointing this out is because, well, first of all, I don't mean, so in other words, like the people who run the entertainment industry, right, and the marketing, so like a Coca-Cola, and so what they do in the marketing department is they create a need, and they create the illusion that this this product will fill this need, right? And so just to kind of continue on and add to your idea is that it says, okay, this is not you. You are not refreshed. You are not satisfied. Therefore, this is going to make you satisfied. When in reality, the only power comes from your choice, your decision to accept that you're not satisfied. So you say, okay, you're telling me I'm not satisfied? And it's actually a choice. Everyone has that power within themselves. And that's where I'm trying to get people to come to, and I believe you are as well, is the fact that you always have the power of accepting or rejecting this premise. And a lot of times in the media, it's a false premise. So when I say they, I'm talking about, when we speak in generalities of people who try to make you less than what you are.
I know exactly what you're saying. And what I'm now bringing to your awareness, a great one, is that you're assisting the problem. Okay? Number one, because you are a teacher. Am I mistaken on that?
I don't think so.
You don't teach?
I said I don't think you're not mistaken. That's what I meant.
Oh, see, that's because he spoke double virus right there. You hear that? He could have said
Yeah.
yes, which is a clean, virus-free word. I am a teacher. Yes. But instead of saying, I am a teacher, he said, I don't think I'm not a teacher. You hear that? That is classic Rumsfeldian speak. Remember Donald Rumsfeld? That's how he would have said that. We cannot deny that I'm not a teacher. Right? I mean, that's classic virus use to confuse the mind, when a straight I am a teacher would have ended it, clarified everybody, and moved on. This is what I mean, why I say I work with the teachers of the teachers. Because this guy teaches teachers who teach masses. Are you with me? And he's using the virus. This is the teacher of the teachers right here in front of me, Change Angel. This is why I'm on planet Earth here, because the master teachers, which is who I see you as, are participating in the perpetuation of the illusion by just using deliberate and willful use of virus. And you know what it makes you sound like? You're intelligent. For some reason, if you speak in negative speak, and you, instead of saying, I am a teacher, say, well, one cannot deny that I'm not a teacher. It requires massive processing to process that. You have to think to hear what he actually said. And that's what makes people sound intelligent, when they have to, when their utterance triggers deep thought. Let me decipher that. That was deep. Right? So I'm like, hey, listen, man, let's cut to the chase and get laser with it. Laser means zero virus in the speech. It's just cut clean, and it's distinct, it's sharp, and it makes the brain run faster. No processing required. Your heart knows what the truth is. If we spoke the language of the heart, a lot of the vocabulary would just cut down to like 2 words. Yes. No. That's it. You know, in African language, we have That's enough. Enough said right there. Right? That's the heart bypassing the brain.
And that's interesting, because among family or close people, that's how we tend to talk. It doesn't. It's just like it's like a hum, and certain signals that trigger understanding, or maybe a question without these words. And I think
it's knowing that.
And I think what you're talking about a lot of times, because while you were talking, I'm thinking, okay, yes, that's true. I did do that. And why did I do that? And I do that, and so I was thinking one of the reasons.
I'll tell you what. You're using English.
Well, no, I'm thinking deeper. I'm thinking deeper as far as beyond, because I can speak clearly and directly. And I think one of the reasons is it's a sort of defense mechanism as well. Because I was trying to get you to back up off me a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And so I said, okay, let me throw, and you're right, because I know it's going to cause you to process. I mean, I didn't think of all this in a moment, but it's kind of like an instinct. It causes you to have to process, and while you process, I get more time to give myself space to think as well. So I think that it may be.
This is what I mean by master right here. That's a demonstration of a master, because their mastery is second nature. That's a master of the highest order, when the mastery happens without them even thinking about how they did it. That's like a Jordan putting a ball in the net and flying at the same time. It's like the ball just goes in the net. How do you do that, Michael? Actually, I don't know how it happens anymore. When I release the ball, it goes in the net. There is nowhere else for it to go. That's like second nature mastery. That's, again, Ali, when he's boxing, he doesn't remember that his hand went out. He just thinks, hit. And the hand just finds the spot, pow, and comes back and says, next. Whereas the beginner master goes, oh, I got to hit that. Let me see. Let me stick my hand out. I hope I make it. And then, I made it. Oh, wow, that was good. Ooh, look at that. See? That's like we call that a lower level master, because they have to process. When you're second nature, let me back him up, off me, right? Without even thinking that you're doing that. That's the definition of the master right there. Well, the body has learned the craft. you don't think anymore. Second nature is called. You know, there's second nature. There's an original nature, and then there's a second nature. That means you've loaded a whole nother level of intelligence in your body where it just knows what to do. This is where we're heading. This is where the change angel level of practice is, where we're in the world like you. That's why I said, bring him on, right? I can read him while he's sitting there. He doesn't have to talk anymore. I can, so when you're saying, oh, you know, Nigel, you need to explain what this, I'm like, no, I've scanned this brother already, and I can tell you, he's playing with you.
You're bad. No.
He doesn't have to talk. Right? His body is learned. His intelligence is oozing off his body, not his words. And if he does come out with some words, he's going to be testing you out, right? So that's where you have to recognize another Jedi on the spot. You with me now? This is where the next version of the conversation is the change angels. We walk around like this, you know what I mean? Just like that. And you're not concerned about fear because you've handled so many situations. It's like, it's just interesting. Everything's interesting. What concept? And then, of course, if you bump into another Jedi, the first thing you have to do is test the depth of them. All right? How deep is this brother really? Yeah. Let me throw out. I'm like, and the baddest ones know when they're being tested. So I'm like, he's testing me. He's testing me. I'm going to have to sort of shut him up in a bit. So let him talk.
But we're
going to have the first engagement.
I like this idea of the language, and because you're taking it deeper than I've ever kind of went with it. So, because I studied like NLP and different, ideas of language, but and this comes back to kind of where I started, where it's so the concept I like to go about is from it's called a generative standpoint. Like we are generating reality. And we also do it with our language. And so, like in that instance, that's how I was able to track what I did. I kind of tracked what were you making me feel that caused me to speak that way, right? And so, and that brought me back to okay, you were making me feel like you were kind of invading a little bit. So I said, okay, let me make some space, and I used the words to do it. So. And you're right, because I've done this a lot during my life. That's one of my classic defensive mechanisms. As even like in growing up in tough neighborhoods, I was able to back people up off me just with my language. And it caused them to have to think long enough and center themselves and decide that that's whatever they were trying to do wasn't a good decision, right? And so I think that it's good to know that, and it's also good to for me to be aware of it, because I don't want to do that, especially not automatically, especially when I need to be vulnerable or I need to learn. Like in this circumstances, I'm seeking to learn, from you and to understand more.
Right, so I'd like to take you to the next level now. All right, so let's have a look at the virus scan, what it looks like pattern wise. Just show us what we got there, Donnie. Can you show us what it looks like? The sheet?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Okay. Now, do you see that pattern? Which one has the most marks?
Not has the most marks. Then don't. Then trying. We got want a couple times. Can't, only one can't. Then, we had the whole story of the good and bad, positive, negative in the description. And then he just used the word but.
There it is. Now, this is like a Geiger counter of your virus outputs, right? And the question is, how much of that were you aware of? Like, how many, can you count the number of knots?
5, 10, 15, 16, 17.
Are you aware that you spoke the word not 17 times?
No.
That was detected.
No, that's because that's one of the words I hadn't associated with this kind of languaging.
It's on a virus. Did you mark that? Because?
Yeah.
All right. Now, this point is, it's not a critique. It's his awareness. Remember, it's awareness. The secret in all this mastery.
Wait, let me say about 5 of those knots belong to you. Some of them was his.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
This is very important, right? So one of the things about the exercise is that people can misinterpret it as critique. Oh, you said that, and Nigel said that. The thing is, what the exercise is awareness, and it's actually for the person who's marking more than it is from the speaker's point of view. Because while I was talking to Sewell, our words were going in your mind. And the question is, did you let it in? Did you let those knots in there, Diamond? Did you let them into your mind? Or did you stop them at the border?
Mine? Or
Yeah.
I stopped them once I recognized it, I became more aware. And instantly that's like, okay. I just caught them.
Right there. That's the point. You were now in the world, but not of the world. Diamond was in this world, this conversation, but she was tracking, listening without being contaminated, because awareness blocks the entry of virus. Now, can you imagine that if we were in a bigger meeting, this is a classroom where there's more than 2 people talking, how much virus is spraying around the room? And you're immersed in it, Diamond, and you didn't have your little detector there, right. You'd be drowning in this stuff. No wonder you would join the masses, because this is 2 enlightened beings talking here, and we're spraying virus right now. Can you imagine? You're in a kind of lesser consciousness environment, how much your mind is being bombarded with that stuff. That's the point I want to make. And this is 2 studied brothers who pay attention to words, and we're still spraying it around. So now I'm thinking, let's just say Will and I decide to make an agreement, man. We're going to monitor every word that leaves our mouth. And we're going to take care of Diamond so that we never spray her with any of these words. We would be talking much slower and much more deliberate with much more intent. What do you think, Sewell?
I think that's true. So let's see if I can try this on, because what I'm looking to do is, I don't know, because it's hard. What I have to do is I have to take. I see what you guys are doing. And but the point I'm trying to make is
the frustration part. Remember I told you, come time. This is it.
Sewell, don't feel bad.
I don't feel bad. I know I'm using all those words because I'm trying to express something, but I'm not allowing myself to do it. And the point is that I like to flow, right? And so what you're asking, or at least it seems to me what you're asking me to do is to be aware of the words that I'm saying and the meanings that they have, the underlying meanings, the triggers that they place off into people. However, for me to be able to do that, I have to take on this list. I have to integrate it into my consciousness and kind of digest it, because from my past experience, I am good at using words to kind of communicate a feeling. And this maybe allow me to be more effective at that, but at the same time, I don't want to get caught up in analyzing my every word, because I do it without analyzing the words. Like you say, I kind of do it. It's kind of like second nature to me. And so if I take too much time analyzing the word, I'm not going to get the feeling out. At least this is what I'm thinking. And maybe it's an excuse. Huh?
No, it's not an excuse. What you're speaking to is mastery, right? What you've told me is, Nigel, I have a high degree of fluency and mastery in speaking without awareness. I can do that, second nature. I can speak without paying attention to my vocabulary like that, second nature. Mm-hmm. Now you want me to take on a new practice called pay attention to every single word. That's like taking me back out of my fluency, back to first grade again. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to have to practice until I have fluency in that practice. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. And that's inconvenient, man, because I was flowing without all this analysis. Now you want me to go back to this one again and get mastery. I'm going to look into this.
Yes.
Yes. Welcome to practice. Mm-hmm. Welcome to start again.
But the other thought. So is and the word. So and the other thought is.
Very
I think
it's actually engaged.
It can be useful because a lot of the greatest orators do have that thoughtfulness and patience in their communication. Like when you look at Obama, it used to annoy me when he first started talking. I'm like, why is he talking so slow all the time? I know his mind is going so much faster than he's talking, right? But that carefulness allows him to always speak with clarity and not put his foot in his mouth, you know, so... There's a skill to that, yeah.
He cares about the impact of every single word. So I wanted that brother to win so bad because of that one thing. He chose every word carefully. So that little sound that he makes, what he's doing is selecting. Is that no, select, pair. He's searching vocabulary. Yes, pow, and his precision. So yeah, when he spoke, you got some heavyweight landing on you, and you had to process that, and it was so crystal clear that you couldn't even trap the brother because every word that came out of his mouth was chosen with deliberate intent. So yes, you're looking at a Jedi who practiced precision. That's what's required to change the world. Change your words, change the world. That's where Diamond had it right on cue, right? Yeah. So at this level of power, right, that you have, Seawill, yes, your next level of development is back to square one. Delete all these words from your vocabulary unless you choose to put it in there for deliberate programming intent.
I can do that.
Welcome. Now, how that to accelerate it, you just need to have another master to practice with. That's where Nigel comes in. That's why I said, hey, bring him in, because where two or more gathered, that's where the mastery happens. When it's just me and Diamond talking, it's not that great. But when there's three of us, she's observing, you and I are talking, she's getting good at listening and noticing the word, we're getting more precise. And as she starts telling us how we're doing, we're like, you can hear your language is cleaning up. Plus, you love it. I can tell it. Diamond, he loves what I'm talking about. He does. He loves it. He's been missing this in his life. The man wants to go to the next level, but he didn't have anyone to practice and challenge himself to make sure that he does his work.
And so that's why I see where you were actually guided to tune in.
The law of attraction.
The next chapter of your evolution of who you are becoming is now. So you've gone through whatever school of thought and of learning that you needed to get through up until tonight. Now the universe is saying to you, and God is speaking and saying, okay, baby, I gave you enough time to flow and be fluent with whatever you were flowing with. Now I'm going to take you higher. I'm taking you higher because I need you. As my child, I need you here on this planet to help other people go higher now. So that's why you're here to help other people get to that next level. You are no longer the Seawill Inspire who was here when you just got here, when you came earlier, is not the same Seawill that's sitting in his seat right now. Because what has happened is your whole mindset is now, even when you get off this call or this chat, you're going to be thinking, you're going to be more conscious and more aware. And even if those words slip out and you say it, you might say it, but you're still going to recognize that you said it, as opposed to not even recognizing, oh my God, I'm using a virus word. Now it's going to be like, okay, I know I used a virus word, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's a clarity. It's going back to this clarity of being, and especially even because it begins in the thinking process, like Mr. Nigel was saying. The thinking process is the programming language, and then of course it comes from our mouth, therefore, and then it creates. And so, and it also sets our tone. You know, the words that we use set your tone of vibration, your attitude, the way you process information, all goes through our language filters, right? And so, I definitely can relate to that idea of clarifying your language, and I want to be better at it. And you're so right, Diamond. I was drawn to this, and this is similar to what I was asking for clarification on earlier today, as I was, doing my writing and stuff. Is language to actually explain it in a more clear way, because I'm looking to facilitate, like Mr. Nigel said, I'm a teacher, so I'm looking to facilitate a connection, an awareness with your source, and then a focus of that energy to create what you desire, right? And so we all got the classic training about goals and about using the positive and the present tense, but it has to be taken further than that, and applied to our way of thinking and talking. So yes, I'm definitely appreciating this conversation. And I'm actually practicing now, and I believe I am enjoying, the filtering of the words and speaking it in a more deliberate manner. And another benefit of it is it allows the person that's listening to process the information and digest it. Because when I'm talking so fast, what I generally do is first I establish the trust. Because if I'm talking too fast, where they can't process all the words, they just have to trust me to go along with it, right? Or say, oh yes, that sounds good, because they're kind of having to let down some barriers to continue to go with that flow that I have initiated, right? But I know me, generally I don't accept even that same operation. I really have to trust the person to allow myself to kind of go with their flow of words. As Mr. Nigel recognized that I did when I first came in here, I said, okay, let me first establish some trust and see what he's really talking about, to see if I can allow, some of the filtering to reside. But I do want to be able to yes, sales talking, right? It's like, hey, you're just talking and you're trying to push these little triggers and, slimy your way in, so to speak, and most people are resistant to that. But when you are being more deliberate in your communication and clear, then people recognize that you are you're honoring them. You're honoring their thinking and their feeling and letting them process it and come up to their own conclusion, instead of assuming they're going to agree with you.
I'd like to take everything you just said to another level, with your permission. Okay. So some of the things I heard was establishing trust, right? When you're communicating, build that trust first. And then another piece was about speed and, like when I'm speaking fast, the person just have to trust that what I'm saying is good, because really they're not really processing right. So there's this notion that speed can require trust, if you like, to be accepted, right? And I'm thinking there's something Diamond said that was important. Yeah, Diamond was saying, see, Will, when you leave here, you're going to be on a whole nother level, blah, 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 right? These are good things, but I'm going to show it to you on a whole nother level. First point to Diamond's point is to reemphasize, like part 2, when you asked me about the law of attraction, right? You said the way the law of attraction, you take the lid off it, It's measuring the density of virus content in the mind. So like attracts like. So the reason why SeaWorld was drawn here is because between you and I, Diamond, this is a very low density virus environment. So a person who's already have a clear mind is going to be dragged in here by some magnetic force. So he's here, and he's still here because we have the same mindset. That's what got us here. And trust me, if he didn't have this mindset, he would have left a long time ago. It's like, oh, these people are too deep, you know. No, he's like, I love it. This is good. He's smiling, right? Because he has the same mindset, right? It's a high mindset. The teacher of the teachers is up there in the 1%ers. And you recognize him. You called him a change angel before I saw him.
I did.
So,
I knew it. Yeah. I'm telling you, from the time that we were on the other chat, and you hadn't even sat in the seat yet. But my intuitive abilities are very high. I can look at your name and spirit will speak to me and say, okay, you need to look a little deep at this person. So something just said to me to look, go to your link and just like slide over it and see what you were about. Like, what was your slogan? Because I felt a connection somewhere. So I said, let me confirm that I'm right before I say anything. You know what I'm saying? And I was correct. And then as soon as I said it, and then the system shut down. Like, no, it didn't want you in here. It really just didn't want you in here, you know? And so I was just like, he's a change angel. Right. I can tell. I bet you he's a change angel. I knew it.
This is much more, the law of attraction now is much more visible at this height. You see it working. An angel spots another angel. That's why from the moment you sat in the seat, I was like, okay, you don't have to explain nothing to this brother here. Don't try and bring him up to speed. He's up to speed. And he's just used to not revealing his true colors, right? Because most people would be intimidated by this level of intellect.
Now you show your cloak.
And that's only, it's not for us, it's for the rest of the world. Because he has to dumb it down so they can not be scared by him. So he has layers of cloak. I'm like, dude, can we strip all that, leave that outside and get real here, right? We know you're a great one, so let's just be real about it. This is the real deal. You were born great. You shouldn't have to be dumbing nothing down. In fact, I'm giving that up now. I used to have to do that. But game over. Now, what allows us to have this unveiled status is the law of 3, where 2 or more are gathered, right? That was very important. Like, if it's just 2 of us, we'd still be like edging around, but now there's 3 of us, right? You have 2 witnesses and 1, so he can be real. And as long as we're in agreement, dude, you need to go to the next level, right? And you're like, okay, let's go to the next level. And that's why you're still here, because you want to go to the next level, right? And I'm like, let's go to the next level. And everybody here is in that higher plane. So that was my next point. Listen, to whom much is given, much is required, right? Your intellect is so humongous that I know that your assignment is huge, right? And so if there's anything I would venture to accuse you of is not playing a big enough game. That would be about it.
Yeah, you're right, and that's why I'm in this because like I keep on talking about this generative idea because that is I'm developing a program now, and the impact behind it is global, right? And so that is where and I think so I know I'm going to use all kind of words that are not right, but I don't think I'm special. I don't think I'm special in that regard. You know, I think in other words, Yes.
You know what you just said, right? Well, you said, I don't think I'm structured in that regard. Now, if you took out the word don't, I am structured. Take it out.
He is using language to hide his true identity.
I did that earlier today. I did that. I said, well, I don't think, and then he was like, really?
Well, that's
and then I had to take out the word. I took out the word don't, and I was like, I think blah 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 blah. And I took out the don't, and it was just like a whole nother sentence, a whole nother vibration, a whole nother place of being in my words. So I really want everybody to get this. Like everybody that's around me, I'm about to have Nigel come on here once a week, and if they don't tune in to really learn this, then I'm gonna disconnect myself because I'm not gonna be recontaminated by
virus talk.
Right.
Be careful there. You're talking virus now. Be careful. Right now, the thing about Will, he's bringing something, a very important point that needs to be heard. So I'm going to echo it for you. He says generative. Isn't that one of your words?
Yes.
I'm coming from a generative position. In other words, reality is generated, and it's generated from speech. So I'm not just playing around with language for programming's sake. I want to generate something. And the fact is, as long as I'm opening my mouth, I'm generating something. So when I say, if they do not learn, I'm going to disconnect myself. You know what I just generated? That. They will not learn, and I will get disconnected. So would you like to rephrase that? First of all, the word if is a virus.
See, I get in trouble too where you're not by yourself.
Yeah. Because he's so right. I am going to enlighten everybody that comes on this show so we can speak on the same level.
Period.
Yes.
Done. That's what she meant to say. But she used the cloak of virus.
See, I told you he's a change angel. I told you he's a change angel.
That's what I'm saying. And he's only coming out because you are out and I'm out. It's like the gay movement. A lot of people have been gay forever, but until the first guy came out and said, I'm gay, and everybody came out and said, I'm gay, now it's in San Francisco, they celebrate it. It's called Gay Parade. But back in 1980, you'd get beaten up for saying you're gay. Now it's just international, and they run the world because people are coming out. So I'm saying the same thing's happening right now with the change angels. I'm out. Are you out? Are you out? And it's over. Remove all cloaks. As far as I can see with C-Will, he's only using virus to disguise his true massive nature.
You're right. Hey, Marvetta, you should come in here. So she's awesome. I don't know if she's even listening, but she's awesome. She's a singer, and she's very connected to her soul and to her source.
She could come in. Marvetta, you could come in. Let's let Master Nigel break you in.
I wasn't a blabber first, so I just got to say this. I believe I'm gonna make sure I'm talking about the right person, but we were. Yeah, let me go look at her.
Okay.
Thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same person. Yeah, it's her. So we were in a blab together, and she, yes, I encouraged her. She was talking about something deep. I was like, yes, speak about the essence of life. And she went in and really shared from her heart, and really touched everybody who was there. And it just brought quiet, because we all recognized what was happening, and so we were just in the moment, and it was very, heartfelt, and that soul communication between all of us. And she shared her experience in life and her connection to God, and the realizations that has brought, that she is connected, and that we are all watched over. And that is something that I am in complete agreement with, and am using my platform and my speech to share this awareness. Yes, we are individual. However, we are all connected, and there is way more to us and to everything than just our individual awareness. And so when we connect to that
Amen.
higher awareness and begin to move in alignment with these, higher levels of intelligence, you can call them angels, you can call them, beings of light or whatever you want to call it. However, they are always with us. And, I think when we begin to acknowledge and show appreciation for this, it amplifies, and so this is.
Now, the other correction I make there, Angel Diamond, is we is a virus. Look on the list. Did you mark it up? W-E. Yes, it's a virus.
Because it's basically it's a separation word.
It's another cloak.
It's a cloak.
Sewell is demonstrating the art of cloaking. There's certain words he's using to remove the I from the conversation.
I see what you're saying.
So I is not a virus word because yes, that's you.
No, I is the original. When I speak in the I, I'm down at the core. So now let's just hear that same speech again in the I. We talked about angels watching over us, and that's a little trick.
Well, you're right, and that's what made Marietta's testimony or speech so powerful, because it was from the I perspective. I'm aware, and you're right, I do use it as a cloak, and I'm using it because it's going to bring everybody here closer to me. So I'm using it to keep everybody. No. You're right. I'm just analyzing. I'm analyzing myself.
No, you're wrong. This is what's happening. The purpose of virus talk, in your case especially, is to keep you out of the picture and make other people comfortable. Because your power is so, when it's uncloaked and all your masks are off, it's super dominant. And you're just practicing modesty. And that is violating principle number 1. Let your light shine, that others may see and know. There is no rule in the Angel Handbook that said, dumb it down a little bit, give other people a chance. No, you are the megawatt. Turn it up.
I'm guilty of that. Well, I have of that.
I was too. Yeah. I was too. But that's why I came out. That's why I'm on this show, because I know my people are here. And thank you, Angel Diamond, because you gave me a platform where I'm now. I asked guys, listen, God, in 2016, I have to speak up. And before I know, bam, Diamond is got this show. And I'm like, well, thank God, because that's not my domain. I don't do shows. I just want to talk. I have content that affects my people, my angel friends. And whoever has the show, God, send that angel to me, and I'll just show up and make sure I deliver my piece. And each angel, including Sewell, has a super duper role to play. And the time has come when we do your thing to the max. Can you imagine if Michael Jordan was like, I have to dumb down my game so that Scotty can have a shot, No, he took his game to the next level, and Scotty had to come up and join him. You with me? Scotty's game went up. Everybody's game went up because Michael just kept on moving the bar higher. And they're like, oh, God, when Michael's on the team, everybody's game goes up. Mm-hmm. Are you with me? So, Sewell, there was no more dumbing down, no more cloaking, no more making people comfortable. Give them the raw, unfettered version of you, and they have to step up to the plate. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's a form of arrogance to think that they can't handle it. It's a form of arrogance.
That just smacked me. I swear to you, that just smacked me. Even though it was for you, see, that smacked me. Mm-hmm. And it smacked me because, like, I have a friend named Leah, and Leah's level of consciousness is like, right? And so sometimes, like, when I bring her in on the show, I know some of the stuff that she's talking about, most of the people in the room are not there yet. Now, not to say that they don't have the ability because I know that they have. Oh look, I know you about to try to get me, Nigel. But look,
no, I'm saying the fact that you said it is an error. Most of the people are not there. That is a lie. That's not what my creator told me. God made them all there, and the only reason why they appear not to be there is because you said that.
No, but if she's talking and half the people in the room, one, don't understand what she's talking about, and
they're lying.
Huh? No,
it is. So I'm gonna team up on you a little bit here, Diamond. So it is an assumption, and so because this is one thing I learned from, I was reading somewhere. It was talking about a professor, right? Who goes but he always talked at the highest level, and wherever he went to speak, and the people, the scientists and the students, they appreciated him for that, even though a lot of it was over their head. But he appreciated his level of respect for their capacity, or what should I say, potential at least. And so they always, like he was saying, we're always reaching to understand and always growing, because that's why I'm taking this full on, because when we are dumbing things down, so to speak, we're not actually helping the person grow. We have to challenge their view, and like Mr. Nigel said, yes, they may say they don't understand it, but it's just because it's maybe not in agreement with their level that they're comfortable at. However, there's a higher level that they can be at, and that they probably have been a couple times or more than once or a lot of times, but it's challenging to their current level.
Right. And I agree. I totally agree with you. But it's like sometimes when Leah is talking, somebody say, "Oh, well, she doesn't know what she's talking about, and she's wrong, and that's not God, or that's not this." But I just feel that Leah's level of consciousness is just in a different place. Maybe some people just don't get her because their level, like you just said, is not at the same level of consciousness at this time. Hold on, Nigel. Just at this particular time, that their level of comprehending where Leah is going. When she's talking like that, I get her completely. I'm like, word, Leah, I feel you. You know what I mean? I get her completely. But then somebody else might say to me, like, gee, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Blah, blah, blah. Why are you listening to this person? Blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying?
And listen, I get what you're saying, but I want to show you something now. Bring to your awareness that every time you describe the person who's so-called not getting it, every word that you use to articulate their position or to describe them was 99% virus.
Okay.
That's the only part I was interrupting. And they wanted you to believe that they don't understand. So they programmed out of their mouth, like if I was to use Will's language, they generated a limited perception. They wanted you to say, look, you don't understand. So they acted it out. I'm confused. I don't understand. But listen to the verb. Don't understand. They could say, I am understanding. I'm understanding more. I'm seeking to understand. Notice I'm still having the same mental state of brain activity, but my language is affirming that I'm seeking. I'm getting there. People go, well, I don't understand. I go, when everyone says to me, I don't understand, I literally filter out what they just said. This is how I hear it. I understand. So I said, so they go, I don't understand. I say, so tell me, what is it that you understand again? I literally affirm their understanding. And they're like, but what I don't understand is this. I say, so what you're saying to me, what you understand is this, and what you're seeking to further understand is this. Is that correct?
That's a nice way to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm seriously removing virus words from their language.
Basically, you're removing their disbelief, basically.
No, I'm removing the virus word, which is creating their disbelief.
Got it.
The word is generating the disbelief. They're born with a high-end processor. Remember, everybody comes in with the highest level processor you can have, and the only thing you can do is use words to dumb down the processor. So if you take away the word that's dumbing down the processor, you'll have an intelligent being right in front of you.
Right.
And that's why when Will came on, I don't even know whether it's a posture or it's just my attitude. It's like, highest intelligent being on planet Earth is right here on the screen. So I will never make any assumption of him being less than the highest and the best. And if he tries to convince me by using some virus-laden language, I'm going to look through him and like, dude, you trying to convince me you're dumb? Because I know you just, I'm sure you're aware.
But it was there. You pulled it out. You know, it was there.
I know, because I see the version that God made, and I refuse to label it any less than that. And I can do that very easily by including virus language in my vocabulary. Will does not understand yet. He hasn't been on the call for 2 hours, so clearly he doesn't understand. No, that's not correct at all. Will is a highly intelligent, God-connected being who knows all things and everything, and the only thing he can do in front of me is pretend like he does not by saying the word not in front of me, and I've already tuned that out. So he can't do it.
That is good.
See, Will, I definitely want you to get this sheet so that you can kind of monitor it on your own, like when you're doing like your shows or whatever you might be doing, and then you can mark it down so you can kind of go back to it, because you will hear yourself say them, the words. You now that
the best thing I would say, Cyril, is if you have a class, give them all one of these, and take them through this same exercise that we did.
So how do you get that sheet?
We got to put the email again. Remember, we lost it.
I'll just post it right now.
Okay.
So, hold on 1 second, Cyril. I'll give you the link.
I'm gonna give him the other thing too. Identify my dominant mindset one.
Yeah, I'm gonna put everything on
pyramid.
I'm just gonna post it right now.
Okay, I put the pyramid up, but I didn't put up anything else.
Okay, let me see. So this link that I'm about to paste is the. Can you see that link?
Yep.
When you click on that, it's going to ask you for your email, and then once you put it in, it's going to give you. It's going to say password protected, right?
Okay.
So, and then I'm going to give you the password as we speak. Are you at that part where it's asking for a password?
Click here to download the tool. So it looks like I got in there. I put my email and password. I mean, it didn't ask for a password though, but
do you have the download?
Yep, I got the sheet.
Okay,
PDF,
good. Yeah. Oh, great.
Cool.
Excellent. So this is how you see how when we're in threes, somebody's talking and somebody's monitoring, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can rotate. Like you could be monitoring and both of us would be speaking, or you can monitor yourself. The point is, the reason why it works is the middle column. I'm practicing being aware. Mastery is a direct function of awareness, right?
Mm-hmm.
People who are aware have high levels of mastery. And then there's a level of mastery where it's second nature, and then you lose awareness. Strangely enough, it's a paradox. Like you get so good at it that you don't know how you're good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a point where I think in my story, in the diamond, I actually was a natural genius, and I had no clue how I was a genius, and then I lost it. And I had to start again, like from the beginning. Can you imagine if you lose your memory? You have to learn to walk again. Mm-hmm. Even if you were the world champion of walking, now you got to go and learn how to put left foot, right foot. But this time I took notes while I was rebuilding. And that's how you become a good teacher, is if you take notes while you're learning.
Right.
How would I teach? You see what I'm saying? And this is why I tell people the change angels are the teachers of the teachers. We were masters by gift to birth. Then we started again and said, now, if I had to teach this, what's step one? What's step two? And then we develop these types of tools so that we can help our audience to grow in a deliberate and willful fashion. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Now you can get on the stage and say, hey, I have something to say, because you're not just talking, you're teaching as well as talking. You feel me? At the end of the day, someone leaves with new practice. That's what I tell people. I sell practice sessions. That's what I really want to be called a coach, because people they put the emphasis on the coach. And I'm like, dude, I sell practice and you're going to be working out. So that's what you're paying for. You can call me anything you want, but what you're going to get is workout. And so you're buying workout. And so that's where my real mastery is the mastery, the working out part, the exercise, like we did today. I mean, you felt that we could have been an interview, but like, that's boring. No, when were you born, Nigel? No, I want us to work out so that when we both leave the call, your brain is on a whole nother level. And you're like, damn, that was an experience.
Yes.
You feel me? And then not only do you have it, you have to replicate it.
Yes.
You, Steve, can now go and teach what I just taught. And that's how this thing goes viral. Because the teachers teach the teachers who teach the more teachers. And we take over the world. Don't you think? It's gone viral. Right?
Yeah.
That's my intent. Yes. And the good news, because I like what Steve said, we're connected. This is like direct connect to source. We don't have to go read no book. We're getting channeled. And when the two or more are gathered, the channeling goes exponential, right? As long as everyone's removed the cloak, and we're clean, right? Because you notice as soon as you remove virus, you start speaking spiritual.
Yeah.
So that's why the people don't. They're afraid of the spiritual talk.
Yes.
And there was a point that you made earlier, Will, about the trust factor, right? What trust is when you remember, Diamond, I said my childhood, I had to go open the hood to see how it worked. So I had to look at trust. What is that? You realize that there's no such thing as trust. Trust is what you have to create in order to. It's like babies. When you put two babies in a room or two little kids, they don't go, I've got to build trust. They don't. They don't go, I need to go trust my other baby friend over here. They just go up to each other and play. There is no building anything. They're connected. It's when they have the illusion that they're disconnected.
Is that where the duality comes in at?
Yes. Virus talk. I am not connected. Then I have to build trust. So this trust is a manufactured thing to deal with virus talk.
It's a treatment of the symptom.
Yes, exactly. And now we're having all this how to build trust and how courses on building trust when really it was
because when you recognize yourself in the other person, you're not going to do anything to harm them. So you don't need to fear them in any reason. Yeah.
Is Nigel is Will, Nigel's Diamond. Why do we need trust when I'm talking to myself? Now, if I entertain virus, that I'm not Will and I'm not Diamond and I'm separate and we're not, and all this thing, now I've got to go, well, I don't know if I trust that being over there because she's not me and we're not the same. Now we have to work on this trust issue. And you got trust issues. This is all a waste of time. Like, don't we have nothing better to do?
Woo!
You see how much time we're wasting here? We could be working some miracles. We're spending time building trust. Mm-hmm. What kind of meeting is this? Oh, well, Nigel, we have to establish trust. The first 20 minutes is about building trust. Man, get down to business.
But
so that's all right.
Understand.
Sorry.
I said, but we could kind of act.
Virus.
I know. But's a virus word, but in this case, I'm just okay. However, we can comprehend his initial reason for the fear is because that particular awareness wasn't.
Okay, thank you for bringing that up, Donna, because I'm about to delete something off the planet right now. The illusion of fear.
Yeah, that's true.
By the way, Sewell, do you entertain that concept, fear? Have you heard of that term, fear, and is it something you even acknowledge that exists?
Well, my awareness of fear is it is the barrier of separation, is what we use to separate ourselves from. We create it, at least this is just my understanding, you asked, right? And so I think we want to be safe, right? And so anytime something happens that makes us feel not safe, create a barrier.
Say the first person, Will.
Huh?
Say that stuff in the first person. It will make more sense.
Okay.
Because you formulating this mysterious
Right. All right. So when that's
when I
I know. It's a new paradigm for me. I'm uncomfortable here. So anyway.
Yeah.
I understand. But I have a coach named Karen Hoyos. And whenever like we do classes or like go on retreats, if you say the word we, she'll be like, this is not a we thing. This is I. You have to take responsibility for what you are thinking and you are feeling, which in most of the time is ego pretending to be you to begin with. And then it's like.
But that is good because it brings it to myself and where I can transform it instead of putting it out in space somewhere and it's not my problem. So yeah, that is good. And so I am afraid of things that I think are going to take away from me, that are going to drain me or that are going to hurt me. So in other words, this is how I have created fear, I guess, in myself, is that when something has taken away from me, has hurt me, has betrayed me in some way, I keep it away from me by generating fear when it comes close. So I guess that I'm trying to, use that personal, and so I think that's what fear is to me, because I just went through, it's so interesting you asked me this, because I'm actually sharing something that I went through today. And I did a whole lot of processing. It was this exercise about money and love, et cetera. And it had you go back and look at the experiences that kind of led to your current state.
Whoa. Stay in the first person.
Okay. Yes. And so I went through this exercise where I looked back at, like say when I was betrayed when I was a kid, it made it harder for me to accept people into my close quarter, so to speak. And so therefore I have a habit of keeping people at a little of a distance. But as I began to process this, I guess, I'm being able to open up.
Pause for a minute.
Yeah.
Because you're generating as you're talking. You realize that?
Yes. And so I'm trying to be careful because I'm trying not to generate the same reality I feel like I just escaped.
There's a flaw in your building. You were building a case, and there's a point which the foundation of your conversation happened in the first 2 minutes or the first minute of your speech. Mm-hmm. Let me take you back to the beginning because there's a point, and this is where Darwin, if you mark the virus word, you'll see these opportunities to intervene in someone's dialogue and save them wasting any more time. All right. The key word that changed everything was the word hard. Hard. Is it on the list?
Yep.
There it is. He said it. And he said, because it made it hard, therefore, and then he built a whole case on the word hard. So I was hurt way back in my childhood, and it made it hard right there. As soon as you said that, I'm like, beep, stop right there. I would have stuck to you right in your conversation, because that word is a virus word. And because that illusion of word, you're using it, you now have a case to justify everything that you said after that. But if I arrested that word, your case ended right there. So would you like to examine that and see what happens? You're going to have a massive breakthrough right here.
Wow, let's break through. Let's break through. I'm down because why he helping you?
Now, the main thing that made it work.
You got this, Will. You got this. You got this, Will. You got this. Come on, baby. Bring it home. Bring it home.
Don't support the brother. He's not that weak. Yeah.
Don't support the devil.
No. We're talking to a Jedi. We don't have support. I mean, tell them wrong, Will. This guy is a Jedi. He does not need motivation or support.
All right.
He's a loner. He just wanders in the wilderness and steps into a room, and that's it. Game over. You know who's in the house. So you don't motivate these guys, and you don't go, come on, Will, you can do it.
Don't motivate the devil. My bad. Oops. Okay.
So, I know,
that was cute. I like that.
Right. So let's go back. First of all, he went to the next level just by moving out of the third person from the we to the I, right? And then you see that he wasn't telling us a story about what happened today. He's talking about his own internal processing that he and God is having today, right? And examining deep, profound matters like love and money. This brother is looking into something very deep within himself, okay? And he was on a trajectory of breakthrough, and he said it. He was there, except he used a virus word, which allowed him to deflect from his breakthrough. And he said, basically, from when I was younger, blah, 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 something happened to me, and it made it hard for me to blah, 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 blah. I'm like, wait a minute. Reverse. Made it hard. And this is where Diamond has to pay attention to every word that is being spoken, because hard is on the list. And that's like, you're the guard. You said, protect our tongue for us, and you let us sing. Diamond. Did you know that? This is supposed to be keeping God for us. You have the list there.
I got it.
Ain't this her first day? You got to give her a break, though. This is her first day. She's trying to master this too, you know.
Well, no.
I mean, but I didn't know you wanted me to be at the same time.
I want you to protect me because I'm subject to going unconscious. I want people, when I go unconscious, they're like, "Pow, Nigel, what are you doing?" Oh, sorry, thank you. That's my kind of friend. What kind of friend do you want, Bill? You want me to let you stick like that and not bring it to your awareness when you could have gone to the next level and you're messing around with virus all day?
Okay, in that spirit, I'll be honest. I jumped ahead since you gave me the key code, so to speak, and I looked and I saw that as we've been talking, I've been deliberating in my mind about the difference between hard and chose. So I didn't have to do that. I chose to keep people. Yes.
He knew it.
And so
I wouldn't let him see. This is where the difference is. I knew that he knew, and I wouldn't let him off the hook. And now that I called him on it, he's confessing, "Hey, you know what? Quite frankly, I did notice it, and but now that I'm with Nigel, I can't get away with it." That's all that means. So now that's the thing you kind of need, buddy. Someone that's seeing you and like, hey, well, who do you think you're with, man? You can, if lesser beings wouldn't even have noticed it. But I noticed it. I'm like, this brother, he's downplaying again. We need to get him to stop doing that. Right? Bring it fully, bring it with truth, because this is what the world needs. As long as you and I allow people to talk this way, we're perpetuating the illusion.
Wait, we getting a feedback. Somebody got two. Does somebody have on two things?
Joe, is your microphone high?
No, that's not me. No. It went away.
It went away.
Sometimes it happens periodically.
Okay.
But it made me think, because we were I was having at least a mental experience similar. So to me, the understanding of feedback is the sound is it's looping, right? It's looping, and it's beginning to create a resonance that expands and expands and expands. Yeah. And so, because when you were talking, I'm thinking about the challenge, or I don't know what's the right word for that. I know that's another word, but anyway, the choice that I made about intimacy, and what intimacy allows you to do when you choose it is to create a positive feedback loop. Okay, what intimacy allows me to do when I choose it is to create a positive feedback loop, which is similar to what we're talking about here with the idea of two or more, which is also the idea of mastermind, which Napoleon Hill presented, right? And so we're able to amplify the idea and bring it to higher and higher levels of awareness, because we're resonating with each other, right? And this creates power, right? And so this power is transformational. And so this is what I am interested in doing in the world, is allowing forms like this and creating transformation in consciousness of the people that are being able to experience it. And so I really appreciate this conversation. And this is the kind of thinking I believe, or the kind of being that can change the world. And so this is what I'm excited about, and I'm just happy to be here with you guys. So thank you, Diamond, for making this platform and inviting Mr. Nigel. And so, yeah, because I've seen your show a couple times, and so this one really resonates with me, and I think what you're doing is really awesome. So I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I just want to say, oh my God, that microphone is mad aggravating. I don't know whose mic it is, but anyway.
I think it's yours. Do you have another device on?
I think somebody has like two grabs on. Oh, it is me. Mm-hmm. Hold on. Let me make sure. Yep, that was me.
Okay. See, it was the other person. It wasn't I. It was them.
It was her. It was her. I think I clicked on something because somebody was trying to get in, and I was trying to help them, and I forgot that I opened it. That's what happened. But anyway, I recognize that this is why I'm here. So that's why I created this forum called, my whole movement is called Minds Up, but I created the show, The Enlightenpreneur, because it's really geared towards people who are speaking out on their enlightenment. Because as Nigel shared with us, we all came here with this enlightenment and this intelligence is in everybody, but it's our ability to come forth. Most people are still in the closet. They don't really want to, me, I'm over it. You know what I mean? At this point, it's just like, either you with me, and if you're not, my intention is to open up a door so that eventually you can come through. See, I'm even changing my language.
I noticed. I said she's keeping it on track. Yeah.
And the good news
is you're creating what you want. You know, you don't want antagonism, you want agreement and you want alignment, and you do want everyone to elevate, you know? And so, yes, I definitely get you, because, you know, I really appreciate that. And I'm going to continue to make the same effort, you know, because it is important. And being that who we are, I believe we do have a greater responsibility to be careful, because our level of awareness and expression of power is I'll just be honest, is greater than a lot of other people's. And so our words carry a lot more weight. And so we have to be conscious of the words that we speak.
Yes.
We choose to be conscious. You don't have to. Have to is a bias.
Oh, I didn't write that down. Okay, let me write it down. You said have to.
Yeah.
So the thing is where this correction part, and I don't really like is awareness. Because every time I bring it to Seawell's attention, he says yes immediately. In other words, he knew these things, right? It's not that I'm lecturing him. I'm reminding him of what he knows. Isn't that correct, Sewell? Nothing new here. The only difference is the rigor of saying, hey, I know that you know this, right? Hey, you know that you know. And that is saying, I refuse to allow my friend to dumb himself down under any circumstances. If anything, he can go above his station and drag me up there, but there will be no dumbing down. And that's the agreement I'd like to make with my fellow angel friends. It's like, look, if you see Nigel going off to sleep, talking weird, smack me. Like, ask me this question. Who do you think you are? Remember that question? You forgot that you are sitting in the influential chair. You don't get to do that, right? You're the teacher of the teachers. Therefore, you got to send out the highest and the best, right? And I do slip up. I get casual. That's why I prefer to choose my friends carefully. I want friends that, like, Nigel, excuse me, did you just go casual? Dude, where do you think you are? Who do you think you're with? Right? So we have agreement. I have agreements with my friends to hold me to my highest standard. And yes, it's a pain in the ass, but it's good for me, right? Yes, it slows down my flow, but I've got to practice. That's all that means. Practice until you get good at it.
But that's what I was going to say. I like that practice idea, because like you said, it is about coming to the place of mastery. And if you want to be, because it is my intention to be a powerful teacher. Therefore, I do want to exemplify what I'm teaching, right? To the highest level that I can do it, you know? And then of course you want your students to bypass you. You know, I want my students to be greater than I can even comprehend. Not comprehend. Let me be honest about myself a little bit, since you're saying so, to be so, and I do agree with you. So, because you're right, what I actually think about myself and what I say, a lot are two different things. Because I do want to be humble and I don't want to seem arrogant. However, what I think about myself is also what I think about everyone else. You know, and so, yes, I think I'm a God being, but I also think everyone else is a God being, you know, so I think we have all this same, that's what I meant when I said, I don't think I'm special in that regard. I know I am special in that regard just because I am aware of it. I don't think I'm special because I'm better than anyone else. I just think I'm special because I'm aware that I have the creative power flowing through me, and I am accessible to it. So it's just becoming accessible to this intelligence, because what I'm understanding in my experience is that there are currents of intelligence and power moving throughout the universe. And as you become in a line and accessible to it and you allow it to flow to you, that's when you begin to create so-called miracles, right? So Jesus, he was accessible to the miracle consciousness and to the power that we are all accessible with. And we are all connected. Yes, the kingdom of heaven.
Wait, okay, we gotta beep you real quick, because you keep saying He's trying to tell
Oh,
you.
the we.
We're not taking
Oh,
responsibility.
that's what he's saying. Oh, I didn't know. I was like, I know I'm not saying nothing wrong, but okay, yes, but see, I'm doing exactly what I said. I don't want to seem like I didn't want to speak about myself and make people think that I'm like Jesus.
I feel you. I feel you.
are.
Because I understand, but see, I was raised in a very Christian. I mean, my name.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, and so when you had any kind of hint that you were saying you were like Jesus, people jumped all over you, right? And so, and so, but that's the crazy thing about it is that's what Jesus was teaching. He was teaching people to be like him. And so when you try to be like him and you have any thought that you could be like him, then they're like, hey, you can't do that. And I'm like, isn't that the whole point of this whole religion? So anyway.
Holy Ghost.
Again, listen to them.
You better go.
Listen carefully. When they're saying, first of all, Jesus has said, you're going to do like me and greater. So if you are equal to Jesus, you're not performing right. You're supposed to be greater than Jesus. Now, if you want to talk about super arrogance, that will be it. Well, I'm sorry, but that's what the brother told us to do. Do what I did and better. So any kind of equality is a sin, as far as I can see. Right? What's the point? I told you, take it to the next level. I just laid the foundation. So that's the first thing. But to help you out and all other angels listening, I would like to remove the illusion of arrogance from the planet right here and now, thanks to Brother Will. Listen, arrogance, there is no such thing. It presupposes that I am different to you in some way, right? And arrogance, there is a thing, but here's how I could be arrogant to Cyril. This is arrogant. Cyril, I don't think you're up to being like me. You're not there yet. That's arrogance. That's me dumbing down God's creation right there. You're not there yet. I mean, I'm there, but you still got a ways to go. See, I'm a master and you're a student. That is arrogance. And usually the master who's enlightened never says that, actually. So the arrogance actually comes from the student. It's the student system. Well, I'm not there. It's okay for you, Nigel, to say all this, but I'm not there. I'm like, that's arrogance. You dumbing down God's creation. God told me that you're great, and here you are trying to convince me that you're not. That is arrogance. Who the hell do you think you are telling me that you're dumb when God already told me you're great? See? What gave you the authority to relabel God's creation to a lesser form than God did in the first place? Arrogance is when someone downgrades themselves. What gave you the authority to downgrade yourself? Who gave you that right? You're talking against God's creation. The best thing you can do is say, I am great. And then God, yeah, I'm great. I may be great, just like me. To say anything less about yourself is arrogance. You see how the thing has been twisted? Now that you see what I'm saying? I am great. That's the truth. If I tell you anything else, I'm lying. The Creator is great. The Creator made me in His exact image. Therefore, I must be great. Like Ali said, I must be the greatest. I mean, the guy was like, it makes sense to me. Oh, he's so arrogant. He thinks he's the greatest. No, he's telling the truth. You're the arrogant one, lying about your identity. You see what I'm saying? So we're not here. I'm not even going to entertain those words unless this person. So this is how I approach it. I say, hey, listen, I know exactly who you are. And they go, well, who do you think I am? I said, you're the master. No, I ain't no master. So you're lying already. See, right there, I just accuse them of straight up lying. Well, I'm telling you, we're going to have a big fight right now, and one of us is going to win. And I can tell you who it's going to be. So I'm telling you, you are the master. What are you saying about yourself? Well, I'm not there yet. There's a virus word coming out their mouth. As soon as people talk virus, they start lying. literally, any form of virus word is lying, occurring on the spot. I said, well, listen, where did you get your information about your identity? I got mine from your manufacturer. God, who's that over there? Oh, that's me. Are you great? Yes, I am. That person must be great. Let me ask the person, excuse me, who do you think you are? I'm just a regular guy, you know. I'm nobody. I'm like, you realize that's blasphemous, right? That is lying. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Declaration of ignorance. God is all knowing. How can you talk about you don't know? You see what I'm saying? The whole virus.
I do. And where I guess I like the way that you're being confrontational about it, and the way I kind of say it sometimes is that so like when you said, okay, you're the master, and the person says, I am not. What they are doing is they are demonstrating that they are the master by creating themselves in that moment, by saying, I am not the master, I am an average guy. So in other words, what I'm saying is their thoughts and their beliefs are creating them. And so they are demonstrating master level ability to be less than what they are.
Exactly.
So it's this, and we can use that same ability to be who we actually are.
Exactly.
Woo! Turn
exactly. Now, here's the question. Since we can create anything we choose, right? Meaning I can say I'm less than, and I can say I'm greater than, I can say anything, I can generate, right? Which is mastery in action. Which one serves the planet better?
Right.
Which one is good for children?
Because this is, and so this to take the responsibility of being who you are, because this is my greatest argument, and this is something I wrote down today in what I was learning. I don't know where it is, but it says being neutral or just going with the status quo is actually damaging to ourselves and humanity. You think you're being passive, but actually you're damaging, because, like you said, you're taking on ideas and perpetuating ideas and concepts that are actually damaging to yourself and to humanity. So it is imperative upon us to elevate ourselves to our true station, because when we don't, we're actually harming each other in the process of being little.
See,
yeah.
He's taken over now. See, this guy can now carry on. I'm now having the lecture over.
The master teacher has arrived.
This guy has unclipped, and now we have another master teacher in the house. See, we can just what's that game where they just pass the ball? We'll just throw it over to Will to finish.
Oh, the hot potato.
Yeah, I mean it's not.
I don't know.
Like, who wants to
I see that. I'm sorry, Nigel. I see that Sincere. He had 3 things that he said. Let me just make sure he's still in here. Okay. So the first thing, his question was, we were talking about, I think we were talking about Will when he was, no, you were building on you being in the image and the likeness of God, or being wise. So his question was, so what about being wise in your own eyes, like your own wisdom, as opposed to, you know how some people have their own vision or values or beliefs, like basically like from what you were saying earlier. So his question was, what about having his own version of like what being wise means to him, you know?
So
I don't know.
Well, he was going back to when we were talking about the arrogance idea, and about being wise. And I understood his question, and I think you addressed it as you were going, as far as kind of, to me, it's kind of like a little view of other people, you know. So it's actually trying to exalt yourself above other people and making them small and calling yourself wise and them ignorant. And so it's kind of like, it's what I would call, to me, a lower level of of thinking, meaning that the people who do these type of things haven't even became aware that it's not a competition, so to speak, between each other.
The way I would address that is say, this is where I would borrow a lot of stuff from Jesus, the master teacher model. He would say, forgive them, for they know not what they're saying. These people are speaking unconsciously. And as I have demonstrated, virus awareness required massive attention. So the people are using virus words to describe themselves and others, and they're totally blind to the fact that they're using virus words. Even with the three of us here, and Angel, Diamond, Marking, we're still using virus words, and we're very enlightened. So we got to have massive compassion on the world that when they're talking and saying, I'm not this and I can't do that, they are totally unconscious of what's coming out of their mouth. And it's generating whether they're conscious or unconscious. So what can we do as teachers of teachers is shed more light. This is why I said to C. Will that, dude, you're going to have to turn up that light, buddy. You have to remove all the cloaks and bring the full gigawatts of your light, because the level of darkness on planet Earth is so thick that we're going to need all the power that I can generate, you can generate, and three of us in full wattage can change massive amount of people. So we don't have any more time to be cloaking anymore. The level of density and unconsciousness is so heavy duty that we have to choose to be bright and unconditionally bright and let whatever reaction come with it. But remember, you have Jedi moves, right? You can see things coming, so don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Yes.
Okay. So, Takia, how long have you been on here? You've been on here for like 5 hours. I mean, how's your energy? How are you doing?
I'm fine. Okay. I originally spoke with Nigel back in sometime in like December or November or something like that. And so I was somewhat aware already, because when we first got on the phone about 2 months ago, we stayed on the phone just like this for about 2 hours. And then he started getting sleepy, and it was just like, all right, well, we'll see the other day. and then I was thinking about him maybe about a week or so ago, because I was rescheduling the show. When the holidays was going on, everybody was dealing with whatever they need to deal with. So I was like, I'm going to restart the show in January. So I'm going to start booking people, rebooking people to come back on the show. So when he called me, it was funny because maybe 2 days before that, I had him in my mind, and I was saying, oh, you know what? Let me make sure that I add Nigel to my list so that I can go ahead and bring him on the show. And so we've been kicking it back and forth, doing test blabs. And in our test blabs of making sure the system was for him, because this was his first time to blab. So he never really had none of this experience. Right. So in the process of that, he was sharing some things, the same way during the test. So I knew it was going to be a powerful blab. I just knew that I needed him to be on at a time when more people would be available to hear what he had to say. So as we were on earlier, we had some people dip in and dip out. But I know change angels or people who are in that high awareness, we don't really sleep like that. Like our sleep thing is different from other people's sleep. Right. So, and I think that's really the purpose. I think earlier it just kept shutting out for whatever reason, because I think Nigel was just giving me a little bit too much, because it was more so just me and him, just one-on-one. And I was okay with it, but the devil, as he would say, was not happy with that information coming to me. So when I added you, I already knew, like, okay, I should probably just start one from fresh, because we had so much content on the other one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when you came in and it shut out, and I just was like, all right, God, what's the reason for this? You know? But by me starting a brand new fresh one, we got like a whole nother energy. I mean, and it's because the energy between me and him before this was good. But to have somebody else in the vibe spot, you know, I don't call it the hot seat, I call it the vibe spot. To have somebody else in the vibe spot that could utilize what Nigel was sharing, because what he was sharing with me, that's huge. Huen is on, Nigel. Nigel. You heard me? Yeah. Oh, I said Huen is on. Okay. So yeah. so anyway, see, Will, it was like when he and I were talking, I was catching it and I was shifting like instantly. I was shifting. It wasn't nothing. So to actually see somebody else in the vibe spot and be able to see what happened to me happen to you is incredible for me. It's life changing for me, because I know that I already know this is what I'm supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? I've been through that. I know this is what I'm supposed to do. This is why I'm here. This is why God keeps putting me back in radio. Like, I do music, singing, songwriting, all that other stuff, acting and all that stuff. But I knew that when I came back to radio, it wasn't going to be the same way. It was going to be, now you're going to bring, the only difference now to Kid, you're going to bring that same personality, that same image, that same fire, but you're going to bring people on who are now riding with you to help change the world on the other side. Because I think I contaminated them long enough with my other music. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm just like in this new place. So to have you in the vibe spot, this was beautiful, because I got a chance to watch your transformation before my eyes. Like, you banging right now, like you fire right now. You know what I mean? I'm proud of you. Like, I'm so serious. I'm so proud of you. Like, I believed in you before I let you in the vibe seat.
Yes.
You feel what I'm saying? So to just see this is like, I can't wait for us to come back on. You know what I mean? Next week, if Nigel is open to it, to come back next week. And we do it again. We come in because we definitely need the practice, because it does take practice. Because anytime, like, we can hang up with him tonight and we don't speak to him for a couple days, by the time Friday get here, we'll still be saying not, no, don't, hard. It'll all come right back. So it's helpful to do it. So yeah, so Nigel and I've been on the past 5 hours. Back and forth. The system kept shutting down. We just kept starting over. Like, all right, Nigel, you ready to go back? He's like, Nigel was in the bed by 8 o'clock. He's an early bird. This is the latest I ever seen him up.
What I discovered is that when you're divine works, which this is, divine works, there's another vibrational energy that runs us. Like, we're running on a high octane fuel here. And do you understand what I'm saying? It's like,
I do.
It's a whole nother fuel. And your brain has to be cleared to consume it. But once you have it, it's high vibrational fuel. And that's why I said, look, you know, and when you have 2 or more, man, it spirals up like this. And as long as everyone's cleaning, which is, I think there's a guy that calls this cleaning. The basic cleaning means just remove virus from your speech. The truth just starts leaking out, and the truth sets you free, right? But there's a caveat with the truth, but first it will piss you off. That's the part that slows down the revelation of the truth. People get uncomfortable with it. I'm like, listen, we need to learn joy of discomfort. That is a sign of growth and progress. So that's why at the beginning, I have to do I always say, like, let's give me 90 minutes, because the first hour is about discomfort. Oh, did he just say that? Ooh, Christian. Right? That stuff hurts, right? But it's setting you free. You're peeling off layers, and then there's a point where it just goes exponential, which is about the last 30 minutes. And then it would go even more exponential if we had more guests like this, because part of the process is a witnessing process. So, like, Diamond's consciousness went up more now that she was observing you. And if she had skepticism, witnessing you transformed her. That's why if you look at how Jesus was working, there was always a crowd when he was ever doing a miracle. Why does he need a crowd? It's because the crowd amplifies the belief system. Right? He just needs to do one miracle and all 1,000 people believe it now. And then if they're all looking at you, yeah, we agree. That happened. If two or more agree. If the agreement is high, the belief changes fast.
Yes.
And that's what I always wanted to do. I wanted to have a miracle. That's what I like, these workshops that last for 3 days. And, you know, build trust. You remember all that trust conversation? No. We're going to meet and we're going to talk for about an hour. And while we're talking, there's going to be magic happening in front of your eyes. And when we're done, we're done. Now, rinse and repeat. Take this and go do it. Start another blog and replicate. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it goes viral. And I'm hoping that whoever's watching this recording experience what we experience. I haven't seen what it's like I know what it's like when it's live, but when it's recorded, is it like watching TV or is the vibration the same? It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
And but I think I like that we shared the link to the words, because I think that helps you see what's happening, right, and see the shift happening. And it's so interesting because I'm listening to Diamond talk, and she actually told me what I wanted to know. I had a series of questions but I just asked her how she was feeling, right? And so, but she told me about how you guys came together and how we came together as well, and that's what I was seeking, was the understanding of the connection, or just the recognition of the connection, more so to speak, because I was aware of that. We have established a powerful connection that I believe can be beneficial to each other and to the world. So that's what I just wanted to acknowledge that. And so she definitely acknowledged that she was aware of that, and wanted to continue it. And there was something else. This is an aside, so I have an interesting mind. And so when she kept on talking about the blab going up in and out, to me it was, so like I said, this is just my mind and my imagination, even though I think it's real, is that we
we don't want no stain.
We shifted realities. Okay, so you're at one level and we're about to shift to another reality. So everything, it kind of glitched, like the Matrix when you see the black cat twice, like, oh, it seems to be a glitch and something's wrong with Blab. No, we're going to a different reality, and this is where this is happening at, and that's what you were talking about as well, I think, Nigel, when you're talking about that discomfort level, because you're actually in a shifting moment. You've been living here, and now you're going to go shift to this a different a reality, and so and I like to think about it that way, because what it allows you to do is to accept drastic changes happening around you. It's kind of like when you're in the dream world, right? When you're in the dream world, we just naturally accept tremendous drastic changes happening all over, and we're not freaking out, you know what I'm saying? But, let's start to merge this idea, because that's what we're actually doing when you're taking on this creator seat, when you're coming into this realm, you're starting to make reality a whole lot more malleable. And when you make mind shifts like this, everything reacts to you differently. The whole world, because it is, okay.
I didn't even catch it, so I fell asleep myself, so it's okay.
I don't know why I do that. I think, I really don't. But I think
it's just a habit.
It's habit, but the real reason I believe it is, at least the reason I took on the habit, because I think it helps mean, because I thought at least we can talk about it, but I think it might help the people who are listening to take it on for themselves. But maybe if I use the word I, then that may be better. So anyway, I'm going to try it.
The land of masters, everything is taught in the first person. Everything. The reason why it's taught in the first person, number one, human beings, especially babies, learn by watching and modeling. So if you want to teach your child, you go, so what I do is I put the spoon in my mouth. What is Daddy doing? Daddy's putting the spoon in his mouth. Right? You notice I'm doing it in the first person. So when the young master, let's call it that, is doing, this is what the master, the student, let's just use that word for a minute. I actually don't believe in students, but let's just say, this is what I think. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the spoon in my mouth. Notice I'm using the same language as the master modeler. I am putting the spoon in my mouth. Guess what the master said? I'm putting the spoon. The I is universal to both the teacher and the student.
Yes.
Now,
I see that.
It turns out on the virus list, the word you is on there. Did you notice it? On there.
Yes.
And with the word you equals not I. That's what it means. You equals not I. You is not I. It's a denial word. And for some reason, I believe it's the change angels who invented it. That's the problem. It's us that created these words because it's a way of disguising our identity. There was a period in time when it wasn't safe to be a change angel coming out talking like this because they got burnt at the stake, right? There was a witch hunt for us. Did you know that? In that period of time. So that's why we went into hiding. And we're still in hiding to some extent, except now we're in the enlightened period. And it's the necessary at this time for us to come out. So, but one of us has to come out first, then 2 comes out, and 3, and then it goes viral after that. After 3, it's viral. While we were talking, I'm noticing there's all these people lined up. Diamond, I'm seeing all these people hanging out here trying to get in. It's gone viral already. You with me? And it's the other enlightened beings. So I'm thinking we need to expand. How many seats can you have on this thing?
Yes.
Diamond.
To expand the conversation, I think, yeah.
It's a beautiful thing, and I must add that you guys see her as for your well-being, but Huang was actually the person who told Master Nigel to give me a call. So Hill is actually very enlightened. So she deals with polarity, that whole reverse thing of you not thinking this and figuring out that. He will take a look at your energy field, go in, fix all of that remotely, fix all of that stuff that's got you in confusion or thinking backwards or the opposite or whatever. And your mindset will just snap right back into place as to where you originally were supposed to be. It's amazing. Her gift is just amazing, So you attract people like that who can help you on all different levels because we all have unique gifts that have been given to us. Some of us are teachers and speakers. Some of us are healers. Some of us are just messengers, prophetic. You know what I'm saying? Like all of us have different gifts, but at the end of the day, we're all one. And it all comes back to that one place and that one source.
So, okay, I'm going to try this again. I know I just messed up there. I'm going to do this again. And I'm really feeling comfortable with you guys. That's why I'm doing this. So, I am an usher. I am able to go from one reality to another and bring people with me. And so this is why I had that perspective that I just shared with you about shifting realities and recognizing the signs of seeing it happen, the glitches, the and the evidence of the shift in reality, right? And so the evidence is people, the conversation shifts, the animals, the wind, everything changes the way it responds to you, and your new level of awareness.
Yes.
The people, even the people in your family, your friends, you may find some people who are part of your old reality may call you and try to get you to come back to the old reality because now they miss you because you're not there energetically anymore. And you can go back, you can, quote unquote, backslide, And so that's why it's important to have these supportive groups to keep bringing you back. Hey, you were, this is actually where you did want to be. And let's keep ourselves strong in this area. And that's why I love these conversations so much, because it opens the gate, so to speak, for people to come to this other reality that we are all have already created and already decided that's where we want to be on another level. And it's just kind of like the trickle down effect. And like the physical is kind of like the last one to cross over, and the reason I'm expressing it this way, because these conversations need to be had is so that our ego can accept and recognize that this is what is happening. Okay, I have decided to change. I'm moving now to where I want to be, because it is all permission based, right? The whole universe
already was to begin with. You're just going back.
Right. We're moving, and this, and also what I'm speaking about is the multidimensionality, because I believe that we already know each other, right? And this is finally us meeting on the physical plane.
Right.
Okay. And so now, we're like a group, we're like I love what you call us, what, the angel changers or something, right? Change angels, right? And so, so I'm just going to continue sharing because it's fun. So one of the things I imagine is us coming to the earth. It's kind of like a comet shower, right? Like it's just a army, so to speak, of angels coming to earth. And so we're all born, we come, and now we're reuniting, and now we're bringing about the intent of our life, And this is why these connections have so much energy that they can knock out the internet for a second, because they're that powerful. So it doesn't surprise me when that kind of thing happens, and like I might see things that aren't normal, you know what I'm saying? But it is understanding that this is what is happening now, so it is important, and I can feel it, and see it in all these different ways. So I think when this is I'm recognizing myself and you all as what we are, and so that's why I'm glad that you acknowledge that connection, Diamond, and so do you, Nigel. And I think what we're doing is important.
Yes. And I'm so glad that you pointed that out. As I know a few energy healers that might do blab, and when the vibration is really high, everything goes cuckoo. And we're all like, well, what happened? We would just, even if we do like a phone call, all of the lines will go out, or it'll just be real staticky, but it'll be like, all right, we know what happened. Only because we have that awareness to know, like, our vibration is so high that the phone system can't even handle it. You know what I mean? It's not, it's not. Yep. Q, it was reminding us that she's going to be, yes, she said, yes, we burn electronics. And she's going to be on, and I don't know what you do during the day, but she's going to be on tomorrow morning at, I think it's 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, our time.
Oh, good.
9 a.m. on her time, which is the West Coast time. So West Coast time, 9 o'clock, and she'll be on. And I would definitely recommend everybody who's on this call right now to come in, because Hugh is phenomenal at what she does. And she's actually going to do a group clearing on the blab. So she's going to be removing money blocks. She's going to be removing a lot of garbage that's in our aura field to actually bring you back and bring your polarity back into alignment. You know what I mean? So try to get in there, guys. I don't care if you at work. If you at work, just ask, could you take lunch at 12 o'clock? Like, for real. Like, definitely. So, wonderful.
All right.
So, anything else that you guys want to share? Because I know, we've been. It's 111, angel number 111. Yes,
Awesome.
yes. Nigel has 333 on his screen. Angel number 333. Oh, it's 1011 for you. Okay, angel number 1011. So we got synchronicity, we got unity, and we just got everything just happening. Like, this is just so beautiful. It's so my vibration is always high. Anytime y'all come in my room, I'm like, I had somebody ask me before at a Toastmasters thing. They said, well, could you explain to me the reason that you scream? Right? I'm not in my head. I don't hear me screaming. I just feel excitement. Like, that's just my energy. It's like that. And then he's like, no, but the thing is that it's very contagious. He said, when you're like that, the whole room just lights up. Everybody's just looking, and they get all excited because of you. And I'm just like, I'm just a high vibrational being. I refuse at this point to. I played small for a long time to help raise other people up, but I just feel like at this particular point, regardless to the different things that I've done in the music industry and the film industry, I got a whole new industry that God has assigned to me, and I'm going to be even bigger. I'm not going to say I'm going to be, because now you're going to get me. I am already greater than I was. I think it's a time for me to shine even brighter. Like, you shined there, now get ready to glow. That's how I feel. Like a glowworm. You just go and then everything just glows. Before it was just you. Now you're going to pass that light on to everybody else when you go. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yes. You said, looks like we're burning it now. I know that's right. Yes. I know y'all feel this energy, right? I won't be able to sleep tonight. I'll probably write 2 books or something tonight. Oh my God, them books just coming out of me. I don't know where they be coming from. Well, I know where they come from, but whatever. See, I gotta be careful now because Nigel gonna get me. That's all I'm gonna be saying. Like, oh my God, Nigel gonna get me. Let me make sure I watch my words.
Yeah, I'm glad, Hugh, that you're on the West Coast, because I'm like, man, it's 1 o'clock. How am I going to get up at 9 and watch a show? So that gives me 3 hours at least to add.
Yeah, you got some additional time.
I gotta wind down, because you're right. I have a high level of energy right now. And Nigel was talking about it. It's similar to like the runner's high, because at first you're kind of just running on your own energy, but eventually you get to this higher level where you're just in a whole another dimension, and you're kind of running on spiritual energy then, which is limitless as long as you stay in that level of consciousness, Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely fun to be there. Yes, it's unlimited. It's that resource that I think is so awesome. And I think conversations like this allow us to tap into that, and similar to music and other different things that get you there, But
all
I
right.
really enjoy it.
So Hugh made all of us burn. We got 222, 333, and 444. We on fire. So nobody else put no more props. We good. All right. So Nigel, was there anything else that you wanted to share? I guess what we will do, guys, is set another date for our official meeting night. I think it should probably be in the evening like this, so that it will allow the right people to be available who want to chime in. So I know Nigel usually goes to bed early though, so I don't want to keep him up too late, but maybe we could do like maybe what time did we start? Like, what time did we start,
7.
Will? No, you and
7.
I started at 7. I'm talking about we started at 7:30. But Will, when he came in, that was like what, 9? Right, Will?
Yeah, but I can be here earlier. It's just it was like I guess I don't know what time it was. I'm like, because I'm self-employed, and so I go to sleep and I wake up and I do what I want to do when I want to do it.
I tell you, I got a job offer to come for this interview on Thursday, and I was just looking at the phone like, I'm not going back to no 9 to 5. I just left that. You know what I mean? I said, yeah, it was just so funny, and it was just like, to care. You know what to do for your financial status. Raise your vibration. Continue to focus on what it is that you desire, and then you won't have to worry about that. This job is only showing up because maybe the people around you have been in your ear about work, but
It's
you're
a
not.
choice. It's
Yeah.
always a choice, and so like it's an opportunity. And so one of the things I like when something like that happens is you got to also check where your belief systems lie, because you got to honor your belief system. So if your belief system says you can only earn money working a job, you should take that job. But if you believe that you can earn money on your own, then you can go that way, and so it's that's a good time to. That's why I like the moment of choice. You can say, okay, let me analyze myself, see where I'm really at, and see what I can do, and not to get too far into this because I do business consulting as well. But okay, well, what is it that I do that generates value, and I'm comfortable asking to be paid for it, and then will I start doing that now, So those you got to answer yes to these questions to be able to make any kind of money on your own, right? So yeah. So that's all, and I'm loving this conversation, and that's where I'm at as well, because I do a lot of this, and I do it well, where I call myself a vibrational catalyst, right? And so I'm able to elevate everybody in the conversation to a higher level of consciousness. And so recognizing that now, okay, how do I apply that? And do you seek compensation for that, and how do you do that, right?
That's a question for you, Nigel, I guess.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you can answer if you want, but it's also a question for my own mind, because I believe when you ask a question, you get answers.
So, earlier you said, is there more? There's more to this conversation. Like, there are actually another levels we can take it. I think we should save it for another session, but we better build on this.
Yes.
Number one is that the virus awareness practice, that there's levels to that too. Like, we basically started today, but I recommend do it every week, and you'll see the subtleties, because the way you notice it is the marks on the sheet. So if you notice right now, most of the marks are at the top right. Have you noticed that? There's the higher ones, the marks and don'ts. The subtle words like if is on that list, right? Can you imagine that word, what it does? The word if, just as a sidebar, a little heads up, the purpose of the word if is to create uncertainty. So check this out. I'm bad. Like Michael Jackson. I'm bad. Now just throw the word if in there. Instantly, you're doubting if you're bad. And that's what the word does. It creates doubt in the mind of the speaker or the listener. So now let's say, I say C. Will is coming to me, right? And he has the look like he's a bad brother, but I need to slow him down. So I'll say, well, if you think you're bad, notice what I just did? I just threw the word if in there. Step to me. Notice I have nothing. I don't have anything, but I created doubt in his mind. Just by saying, if you think you're bad. I already said that he's bad, but I don't want him to have that strength. I want to dilute it. So let me throw out the if in there. And just put it in there. And now if he thinks it, if he actually hears the word in his mind, if I'm bad, am I bad? Instantly, I have him off guard. You see how now that we're aware of the word, we can consciously use it to create or generate experiences in our favor should we choose. Are you with me? Because now we have access to controlling how people are behaving because we know what one single word would do. And we throw it out there to destabilize them. So that is on the list. It's halfway down or something like that, right? Now, can you imagine practicing that for 5 years? You would just walk into a room and analyze a person in their first 5 words. Position them, you're at an interview, and somebody says a few words, and you've already summed up the whole company based on their 5 words. This is how much power we're playing with this simplicity. So that's just one thing. One thing that Will mentioned earlier is when he was, when I stopped you on the hard thing, you mentioned the word fear. I think I asked you, what is your opinion on fear?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, have you heard of it and do you entertain it? And somehow you're giving me your opinion on it. And I said, I'm about to remove it off the planet Earth right now because it's another one of these manufactured things like trust. It's totally irrelevant. However, this is a teaser. And I'm just going to put it out there to see. I know it's late, so I don't want to start a new one, but this one is a super duper. So I'm just going to say it, and then I would like Will to echo it back to me, whatever he thinks is here. So I'm going to close my eyes so I can see it. The phenomena previously known as fear is now called turbo. Here. Can you send that back to me?
Turbo, that's the word you used?
Yes, Turbo. Yes.
I like it. So my echo back would be...
No, verbatim.
Oh, verbatim. Okay. The feeling previously recognized... this phenomenon previously recognized...
Previously known as fear. Remember that word which we are calling a phenomenon? We've decided to rename it. Literally, like everywhere you see the word fear, change it to turbo. The phenomenon previously known as fear, notice I put it into the past, so it's no longer a present tense word, is now known as fear, turbo. So you no longer say that word anymore. Everywhere you see the word F-E-A-R, you replace it with the word T-U-R-B-O.
Okay, the phenomenon previously known as fear is now known as turbo.
Yes. So I felt some turbo when the dog came to bark at me, right? The lion jumped out at me and I felt some serious turbo. And that turbo propelled me to move at 100 miles an hour.
Yes. Yeah,
now
like
it makes more sense. I'm like, because God, did you create this thing called fear? He said, yes, hell yeah, I did. Well, what did you have in mind? It was like, well, the first thing I need to let you know is that the thing has been mislabeled. The phenomena that you're calling fear has been wrongly labeled. The proper name for this thing is Turbo. I'm like, dude, is that me saying this because I'm an engineer? He's like, no, you can test it out spiritually, mentally, any dimension you want, it will make more sense. Doesn't it make more sense?
I like it.
That should you experience any danger, that you need an injection of turbo injection to get you out of danger, the body quickens itself with this energy called turbo. What is turbo? It's a physical phenomena. It lives in the physical plane. It's the rapid conversion of potential energy into kinetic energy. You get fuel from food, and it goes into the legs and goes movement, please, now. So all high-performance vehicles, rockets, jet planes, Audi S9 or whatever they have, BMW X27, they all are high-performance vehicles that have turbo built in. And if you need to go from A to B in a short period of time, turbo. Human beings have that system built in. But somebody out there corrupted the damn thing, called it wrong name, and now we're running around trying to figure out what the false evidence appearing real. None of that makes any sense whatsoever. But turbo makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
So, how do we test this? We need to test it because Nigel could be just making this stuff up. Let's test some scenarios where the phenomenon previously known as fear has already been shown to be there. And the classic one is you're being about to be a lion the size of your dinner. First thing that happens, the mind goes, wait a minute, life is the most important thing, and therefore we're shutting down all other thoughts. And then we're going to activate the critical systems that are required to preserve life. Sight, so you notice your eyes go, boo, like that. It bogs out. It's like radar on, and shut down the ears, shut down everything else. Turbo to the legs, and have you heard that thing where you fight, flight, or remember the fight-flight mechanism? There's three. There are three decisions that the mind has to make. Do we fight, in which case we're going to be like turbo, or do we flight, which means take off now at 100 miles an hour, or do we freeze? This is the third option. The dares go for freeze, and they use the turbo to lock up all their muscles so that they just turn into a stick. And the predator doesn't know whether they're looking at something that's moving or not. You just lock up, freeze. So these are all very useful mechanisms for preserving life. Either way, whichever one you choose, turbo is kicked in, and the amount of concentrated power that's in the body is amazing. That's what turbo is. Huge amounts of power concentrated in a short period of time. Now, the thing about turbo, this is this weirdest thing, that turbo is only activated under certain conditions. Like, you notice you're sitting here, Angel, Diamond, and Zero. Do you feel your turbo on right now?
No.
Not really. No. It's not on because it's not being triggered. Turbo is triggered upon the contemplation of greatness. That's the trigger. The moment you think about your greatness, the system goes, whoa, greatness equals turbo. Right? Greatness requires turbo. Michael Jordan, when he's in his greatness, guess what? The guy takes off. Have you seen him leap? That requires turbo.
But that's like feel the turbo and
there it is. That's exactly. Does that make more sense? In fact, if you feel the turbo, you have to do it, whether you want to or not. Turbo will make you lift up a Volkswagen and save a life. What is the greatest thing a human being can do is risk their life for another human. That's when turbo is required. Can you imagine you see someone about to commit suicide and how you rush to save that person? Firemen rush into burning buildings to save somebody. And they go, well, what were you thinking when you rushed in the building? And they're like, I don't remember thinking. I just had to get in there and get them out fast. Turbo. You see what I'm saying? So this thing I wanted to just insert here because any other conversation about this old phenomenon previously known as fear is a waste of precious miracle time. By the way, turbo is required to create miracles. We need to quicken the body, and it needs an injection of, instant energy right here. And by the way, when we're in this level of spiritual vibration, this is turbo energy just applied to the mind. You notice how our mind is quicker, and we can, it's like a whole nother vibe. And if someone actually slowed down the movie, you see that we're actually doing a lot of things in a short period of time. And it's like time appears to be still. It's just that we're going faster than regular time. Anyway, that one is a game changer, don't you think?
I like it. I want to give you props, but Diamond outlawed the props. Outlawed the props.
It's okay. It's okay. We had the angel numbers up long enough. Okay. They know who we are. They know who we are.
And then I'm not going to say about in terms of heads up. The latest channeling is the gift of negative emotions. All of them. Anger, guilt, frustration. They are gifts. They're part of they're required for us. We're like, oh man, the gift of anger. Ooh, I love gift of anger. If you haven't had the gift of anger, anger is such a wonderful thing. You shouldn't leave home without it. That's how gift this is. And so the word negative, as you can tell, contains a virus, right? It's a virus word, negative and positive. So we have to substitute that. Any virus word has to be substituted out. Basically, it's special emotions. That's what they're for. The actual so-called negative emotions are the special set of emotions. The proper word is special emotions, and they behave like the dashboard of your car. They monitor the interior operations of the body temple and the mind. When things are going right, the emotions behave themselves. When things are going wrong on the interior, the lights come on, and you just have to know why your anger light is on, why your guilt light is on, why your frustration light is on. And it's saying, hey, we have something interior going on. Sometimes it's interior here or interior physical, but that's a whole nother discourse that we can have, which when you add it to the virus awareness, and then there's the law of questions that we touched on, Brandon, earlier, about how to shift your mindset by changing your question. I didn't really get to that. Once you start putting all this together now, we have the ingredients for miracles on the spot. So we can bring anyone into one of these dialogues and transform them on the spot, right? And once you see how it's done, you can do it too. This is what Jesus would have done. He would have had 12 disciples. Okay, watch me. He was like, watch me, right? And then he would do some magic, and then they go off and do it and teach the others how to do it. So that's where we're heading, as far as I can see. And 2016 is about activation time for us. Right? Our time has come. This is it.
I mean, one thing I said, I was trying to say to you, Sewell, is surprise. You've been initiated. This is all this setup. Exactly what happened to me. So I got set up. You got set up. Welcome to the club. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks.
You made it. Oh, goodness gracious. I was trying to get Hugh in just so she can say hi. I don't know what happened if I closed her out.
She's probably trying to refresh.
Try to come back in, Hugh. And then we'll let her come in just for a few minutes, and then we'll.
Yeah, we were talking about the time.
Take it down, and then we'll choose another day. Maybe I don't know how far off we should keep it. I don't think we should make it like too long in between because it may give us too much time to revert backwards. So, what do you think about next Tuesday at 9?
Okay.
It's okay. That sounds good.
Yeah, that works for me.
That works for you?
That's okay for you? Or that's too late for you? Is that too late for you, Nigel?
No, I was saying, let me just check. Tuesday.
Okay.
Is that the 9th? At 9?
That is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Okay.
Oh, this is good. Tuesday at 9 and tomorrow at 9 p.m. and a.m.
There you go.
All right.
PM and AM. So if anybody else that's in the room that just want to jump in and see real quick to say hi, or if you learned anything and you want to share what you learned today, we'll be more than grateful to receive you, of course. Before we take it down, we definitely want to invite you guys to come back for more of this your truth. I'm not even gonna call it wisdom. This is your truth. This is who you are. If you were here and you stuck around, it's because everything we shared tonight is a part of who you are, So our Change Angel Night is going to be Tuesday at 9 p.m. So that's the 9th. That's Tuesday the 9th at 9 p.m. Same place, 9 p.m. And don't forget tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon if you're on Eastern time, tomorrow morning if you're on the West Coast at 12 p.m. We got Hugh who's going to come in and do some energetic clearing for us. We're going to learn a lot about polarity, understanding your energy, understanding entities that connect to you, that actually also blur up your mindset and block you, attachments. Who goes deep? Each person that I bring on the show, they all go deep in their own way. So you can definitely expect to, reach a whole nother level of awareness just in another direction. So, that's what it's about. That's what Minds Up is all about, changing lives by empowering minds, So, I guess anything that anyone else wanted to share before we log off or anything like that?
No, I am complete. I'm very grateful for both of you, so I appreciate you.
Perfect. And you, Nigel, anything else that you wanted to share?
Well, I appreciate you for creating this platform, for the catalyst / invitation for Change Angels to show up and holding the space of a high vibration that we could go to the highest level that we are aware of right now.
Why do Wonderful. So, for me, all I'm going to say is thank y'all for answering the call, because we all got a call in, and I want to thank everybody that showed up here tonight. And I want to give thanks to God for allowing us to be able to see each other again in this life, because this is not the first time. If you guys can feel, we feel very comfortable with each other right now, as if we knew each other forever. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, I would thank you guys, and and I'm gonna send this out with happy, because we should all be feeling real good right about now. Just also remember that happiness is the way. Just choosing to be happy, choosing to be in a high vibration of love, and knowing who you are. So enjoy the vibe. If you feel like happiness is the truth, because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you, because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Yeah, give me all you got, don't hold it back. Yeah, well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. Yeah, no offense to you, don't waste your time. That's why, because I'm happy. Come along. Feel like a room without a roof, because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth, because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is to you, because I'm happy. Clap along right. Mine's up, y'all. Mine's up. Y'all have a wonderful night. Many blessings. And see you soon. See y'all tomorrow. Deuces. Thank you.